Welcome back to CVM at Sunrise. It is Thursday, it's Ladies View, and of course, we are here with vivacious Vivica Fox.
Good morning, good morning.
Yes, Margie Gordon.
Morning.
And Deandra Collender. And today we're talking about the evolution of black women. Have we gained acceptance in society, and how far have we come? You know, this is the way I see it. You know, strike one, you're black, we're black. Strike two, we're women, that's two minorities, and God forbid we're gay, that's strike three and we're out. You know what I mean? but seriously, when the fundamental principles were being designed for our society, it was done by men. You know, we do live in a patriarchal society, and you know, terms such as, you know, even in Deandra's Woman in Action features, lines man, you know, it's, you don't have lines woman. We weren't considered when these things were being formed. You know, and things are changing.
We have chairman, but you don't have, but when it becomes a woman, it's chairperson.
That's true. You know,
that's right.
If you even look at things like history, it's his story. What happened to her story?
Right.
We were left out, so things are changing. True.
Absolutely.
You know, we had our women's rights activists. We can vote now. You know, what else is happening? We had to lobby.
We're producers, we're directors, we're writers, we're business women.
Exactly.
Women are doing fantastic things. I think that. If I could recommend a good movie for people to go watch, is to watch The Help. Yes. When you see that the foundation of a lot of families, we didn't get the credit, but how they help to raise children, run the households, white children as well. So we've been doing things, but it's finally about time that now we're stepping forward and running our own businesses, producing our own movies and things of that nature.
And that's what's important, that we take control of what is being portrayed.
Yes,
because,
you must.
You know, the media does have a tendency to portray black women, especially black American women, as, you know, feisty and obnoxious and vulgar, when that's not necessarily the case.
Well, I just consider that they're rewarding bad behavior, and we at some point must take charge, because we have to realize that we're setting examples for Generation Next that's coming up, that if we want them to be good mothers, good politicians, good people in general, that we must start setting more positive examples for them to follow.
That's true.
But if you look back into history, you realize that there have been different images of us as being represented as the strong black woman.
Yes.
Who had to go through slavery. And now you find that with the civil rights movement, persons like Rosa Parks, you know, kind of get things started off in terms of, you know, getting black women, black people in general recognized in terms of certain rights. I know you find that women are also becoming way more educated. If you look in our universities, you find that marginalization happening. And there's just so much things that we've been overcoming, and now you find that a lot of single mothers tend to be black women, and we have to try to make the way, or pave the way for our children rather. So we've constantly been fighting.
As it relates to that, though, is that I don't think that whilst we are stepping forward and doing our thing, I think that the problem that we're having now is that our men aren't catching up, and some of them aren't accepting the fact that, hey, women are here and we're going to stay, we're not going anywhere. And some of the men, some of them won't accept it, and some of them are just not keeping up. As in the school system, we're now in the Caribbean, and in Jamaica particularly, where our boys aren't doing as well in schools as the women are, the girls are. And it's the concern of mine that when a woman, the young girls now growing up, where is the man that is going to meet her in her educational wise and standards?
You know, let me add to that. But from the get-go, you know, when God created Adam and Eve, right? You know how people make a prototype first? You know, they try it out. Let's see what we want this to look like. He made Adam and said, you know, this is just not good enough. I'm going to make something better. And he made women after. You know what I mean? So we are clearly superior.
Hello, I have a son. I have a son. I'm not going down that road.
We want equality. We don't want superiority.
I'm not trying to be feminist or anything, but if you look back, I think men have always feared the power of a woman, and by that I mean, if you look back in our history, you realize that sometimes the women were suppressed in so many different ways. You were not allowed to vote. You were not allowed to go to school.
Every way that you could think of.
You were not allowed to be a part of social gatherings where it's mostly male dominated.
As they say, no woman's place.
Exactly. So you find that because of that, women realized their power and decided to empower themselves, and that's why you find that women are now becoming CEOs, doctors.
Even lobbying for like maternity leave.
Oh my goodness,
like that
I know.
Considered. You know what I mean? It's as I said, we have come a far way. But my thing is, as Marjorie is saying, we haven't reached even close to where we need to be. We had our superintendent on last week, and one of the commissioner's mandates were that a police officer, a female police officer, cannot wear locks. We're talking about black women, a black society.
That is true.
In Jamaica, she can wear
wear locks as a police officer, a woman.
So why would it be something with her hair? They need to focus on whether or not she can be a police officer, if she's qualified.
Yes.
And what they see, I had to get them hip to the Vivica Fox hair collection and tell them stop worrying about her hair. Really?
Yeah. No,
so,
but it's not just that
shame.
case. It's not just as in where the police are concerned. It's right across the country where it's expected that you have to look a particular way. I mean, presenters. I mean, remember that issue a long time ago. We can't have
the suits
your
and
hair,
the earrings, and
you can't look a particular way. I think that we've accepted the European look of what is beautiful and what it should be. And whilst we have embraced our blackness, it's not full in essence of African, your nappy hair and we don't have a problem with that, you know. We don't, and we need to accept it more. That's what I think.
That's what you're saying. People can have preferences, but at the same time, we need to understand where our roots are coming from and embrace it.
Well, if I can just let you guys know, like I remember years ago when I first got into the business and stuff, that you're right, there was definitely a very European way to look. But now that we're in more power positions and we're able to let them know that we come in different shapes, sizes, hair, and things of that nature, and colors. That it's gotten a lot better. I can remember going to model, and they'd be like, we already got our one black girl. No, really. They didn't really think that we could come in different shades and colors and stuff like that. But now it's gotten a lot better, but we have more strides to go.
Absolutely.
And if you look in terms of the dynamics in Hollywood, for example, Hattie McDaniel, she was the first black person in total to ever receive an Oscar award. But back in those days, you realize that they mostly received maid roles. You have to be a helper. But now you realize that they can have lead roles, and you've had several lead roles in movies. And so it's really that evolution that has been taking place. We're no longer limited. And if you remember as well, they used to like paint the black actors with oil or whatever it may be. But no, we've overcome that right now.
I don't know if we've overcome. I don't like to say overcome.
But then we have a problem we can pick up.
We're done. We need to know there's a problem.
I fight really hard for the images in my films and for my productions as far as relationships with the male and the female images. I try not to emasculate my men, you know, that we have to lift each other up and celebrate each other, but that the roles need to be positive.
Right. When you think about even somebody like Halle Berry, I remember her doing introducing Dorothy Dandridge, and it really showed you what a black woman of that time had to go through. Yes. She put her toe in the pool,
and they drained the whole pool. And she's got to walk around the back. Well, we're not having any of that happening no more. We're walking through the front door and dipping in the pool as often as possible.
That's what I'm saying.
Get honey dipped.
The dream has finally come true for sure, where black persons and white persons can integrate and mix and talk as one.
Absolutely.
The concern I still have, though, as it relates to women, not just black women, the concern that I have still is that the world is still run by men, and we can't escape that. And what I find is that there are instances where a woman will be doing a particular job, the same job that a man is doing, but the woman is paid less. And sometimes she, especially if it's an instance where she's working with other men or more men than women in the field, she's looked down on as if, okay, how did she get here? It's not as if there is always this little thing at the back of person's minds. Okay, how did she really get here?
What did she do?
Do you think that a preventative way so that the difference can be exposed is for her to speak up about it? Do you know what I mean? Because I really didn't know that. Well, I know now that the salaries are so different, even if you're doing the same job between men and women. But I think the thing is for us to talk about it, to bring exposure to it, and to make sure that there's equality there with the payment as well.
Right, and that's why we're having discussions like this. And I don't know if you guys can, I'm going far out now, see if you can follow me now, right? When we talk about our patriarchal society, our patriarchal society, and how men developed these, you know, laws, the constitutions, but even something like a car, right? You know how they say women can't drive,
I hate that.
Right? But, you know, men created a car, and I'm sure if we developed a car, we would have done it to our liking. Maybe you push a button there, you push a button there, but them used to
it's almost happening now. Right? It's almost happening now. I get in my car and I got to get used to pushing to start
them
it.
Used to the stick shift thing, right? You know, and they used to hold it onto us and doing the gears.
So why we can do that? Why we have
there's something that was built for them.
Yesterday, I took my son to school, and this lady, the gentleman was going down, and she was coming up in the school parking area. So I'm sitting in the vehicle, and he's like, "I'm a woman, you know, she can't drive. Watch this." And every time, I find that every time, guy, it comes to driving, it's like, as if it's a God-given right for men to drive, and women don't know, and we're grasping and clawing how to learn. And even when we do know how, it's like, okay, she really doesn't know how, you know, she's a girl, so watch her when she's parking and watch her when she...
Or she drives good for a woman.
Yeah.
It's like she look good for a black girl. What is that distinction there for?
I don't know.
But you know, in Jamaica, in terms of our race car drivers, one of our top 10 drivers happens to be a female.
Yeah,
oh, right. I love to hear that.
We are making strides, but as you know, Vivica is saying, and we all are saying, we need to still realize that there is an issue, and we need to continue to discuss it, talk about it, bring the things to light, so that we know what to address. You know, and I want to invite our viewers to continue to make comments on our Facebook page, so that your responses can be displayed, you know, on the lower half of the page as we continue our discussions. But you know, I wanted to jump into something.
You guys are so tech savvy. I like it. They can tweet and Facebook and all of that can go on. All right, Jamaica. All right, up top of the day.
All right, we're talking about women, right? But we're also talking about black women. I wanted to bring this up as well. If you notice in America, right, the white people are called Americans. Everybody else after that is a Native American, right? African American, and you know, Hispanic American, and they are all derivatives of what an American is. So how is a Black American, African American, you know, Native American to feel as if they are one with something if they are being labeled as a derivative of? I'm just seeing how subtle it is.
Yes, I know, but you have to realize that people fought for equality for our titles.
Oh.
So, you know, there was civil rights movement and things like that we wanted those titles. So to be angry about them, I'm not. I mean, I'm very proud to say that I'm African American because, you know, my descent is from Africa, my forefathers and things like that. So that doesn't bother me as much. That's just saying that I am basically a black woman.
You're bringing in the African.
Absolutely,
I get you. So
yes. I look at it positive more because people fought for us to have the right to vote and for that title.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I know that you have some Native American roots.
Yes, I do. I got a little Indian in me.
You got some Indian. Did you get back your repatriations and you're giving out grants? For that.
I got a little casino somewhere I'm going to open up soon, right? Right. See, that's some side business right there.
I love it.
But in an American context, though, because I know that there are subtle signs of racism or discrimination taking place. As an African American, what's the situation like where that's concerning?
Well, I think what's going on now that's unfortunate is that, you know, we have the Republicans and the Democrats fighting so crazily, and I can feel an undertone of racism there, that here's this wonderful African-American man that is fighting to clean up 8 years of what the Republicans did, and they expect him to be a miracle worker and to work something overnight. Well, it cannot happen overnight, but I commend Barack Obama that he had the courage to step in and to want to fix the economy. You know, they have to realize that we were at war for the longest time. He has a lot to fix in a short amount of time. He's not a miracle worker, but he has the courage to step forward and try and fix it. He has a beautiful wife who is doing a lot in the community to deal with obesity amongst children. So they're giving back and they're making strides. They're more involved in the community than what any of our presidents in the past have been, or since. I can say Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton was very involved in the community. So they're doing the best that they can, and I commend them for their efforts. But I can definitely sense a little bit of racial tension. Right there, you know. But that's all right. That's why we have to stick together in America. Still vote. Still know that your vote does count, because there was a historical turnout last time where people didn't care to vote. So we have to make sure we get out and vote and keep the word and keep the power there. It's going to take time.
And like of course, just to tie it in terms of the evolution of black women, we also have a first lady who is African American.
Yes, exactly. Who is so beautiful. She is a fashion icon. And more importantly, she is warm. You see her getting involved and hanging out with the kids. Her and Beyonce did a wonderful commercial for the kids to start exercising again and to watch what they eat and to see the first lady bust a move. I was mad at Michelle. I was like, you girl.
It's so fabulous. It's so fabulous. And you are fabulous. I want to thank you once again.
You are so very welcome. You know, and if anyone wants to see me tonight, I'll be at Soho Boutique. Come out and check us out as we do makeup meets fashion.
All right, sounds great. And Margie, thanks again for joining our discussion. Deandra Collindale, you know, I guess we're just going to wait a little bit. Yeah? Okay, because we're going to take a break and we're going to come back. Of course, Vivica is going to be here. Our special guest don't leave.
Right.
Done. No. She has presentations to make.